Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2025 BMW 840i xDrive Gran Coupe. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Charlotte for providing this vehicle for me today. Take a look at their website. That link is down in the description below. So this 840 is finished off in a skyscraper gray metallic. MSRP is just over $97,000. This is powered by the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine paired to the 8-speed automatic, and it pumps out 335 horsepower, 368 pound-feet of torque. That power sent through the xDrive all-wheel drive system, propelling this nearly 4,400 pound vehicle from 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. It has a top speed of 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 18 gallons. You'll expect to see 21 miles per gallon in the city, 29 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 119 inches. Its overall length is 200.2. It has a width of 76.1, a height of 55.2, and its ground clearance measures in at 4.8 inches. Now for the exterior styling on this model, you'll notice there's gloss black and matte black accents. The entire surround for the kidney grille is finished off in matte black, but there's also a forward-facing camera and tons of cutouts to provide cooling to the engine. There's also parking sensors located up front, and a nice dark housing for the headlights. You'll notice everything is also LED, which has a nice design to it. And then the entire lower section of this bumper is nothing but cutouts and gloss black. There's also very nice edges and lines running through that lower section, and then some more subtle lines that come down the hood. Now this model also has a really nice set of two-tone design for the wheels. There's also the gloss black M Sport brakes. There's a gloss black trim accent just behind that. And then this also has a two-tone design for the power folding side mirrors, which also feature a camera and a turn signal. Now there's also a dual pane sunroof up top, so the entire roof is gloss black, just to blend that in nicely, along with all of the window trim too. Now being the Gran Coupe, of course this is going to be stretched versus the Coupe. It still has a great side design to it. With all of the lines, everything is just very proportional for this stretched vehicle. Now in back, there's also LEDs for the lighting. There's a backup camera, all of the parking sensors, and then dual exhaust in the lower section, along with some fins right in the middle too. Now this also has remote start, so you can just triple tap on the lock button to start it up and to shut it off as needed. And then you can also use the button on the key fob or the one up underneath to open up the power trunk. Now this has a surprisingly good amount of space in it. There's no storage underneath the floor, but you can fit in a lot of items. You can also fold down the back seats too to get that much more interior space. There's also some battery access on the driver's side, and then two buttons up top where you can close and lock the vehicle. Now if you do happen to lock it, as you just heard, this does have proximity door handles, so you can just grab on them and unlock it, where this has a beautiful interior with a Tartufo color. There's also the Harman Kardon audio, brushed aluminum accents, and this also has power sunshades. You have one on each passenger rear door. You can also control the one for the sunroof and the shade for that back window, all from both passenger doors. There's plenty of storage down below, an illuminating M badge, and then the two-tone with the merino leather. And then at 5'10", it's pretty easy to hop into the back. You do get a storage pocket on both sides, and you have this column in the middle for your vents, a little bit of storage with auxiliaries. You get heated seats and all of the climate adjustments too. So if you do have a middle passenger, they will have to have a foot on both sides, but it's not really all that bad. Now right in the middle, with the armrest, you have a little bit of storage, and then you have two cup holders on the front section. You can also fold down this middle seat if you need a little bit more versatility, and then you do have a pretty thin pillar right there, so that way you can see around, and it provides a lot of light, of course, for your backseat passengers. Now up front, you get memory seating adjustments, all of your window controls, side mirror adjustments, trunk release, and additional storage. Same M badge down below, and a very nice set of seats. This does have a manual adjustment for the leg support, but everything else is automatic with the adjustments down below. Now hopping in, we have a full leather steering wheel that is heated too. You have cruise control settings along with paddle shifters, and then on the right side you have some more controls for the gauge cluster. But before we get to that, let's start this up, take a listen to how this sounds. And coming back to the gauge cluster now, you'll notice on the left side there's fuel and miles per hour. Right side, there's the tach and engine temperature, and then you have some more information right in the middle that you can scroll through. Now on this right side, there's volume and tuning, you have Bluetooth and voice commands, and then a shortcut to your radio and media, which will pop up on the head-up display. For this system, you need to use the button on the top of the turn signal stalk to go through the rest of these features. So you have a few vitals that you can pull up, just depending on what you'd like to see, the drive modes, and then we are back to your odometer and some data information. Now with the rest of the head-up display, it's currently just showing miles per hour and the speed limit sign. Now to the left, you have all of the headlight adjustments. There's one air vent, leather for the entire dash, and then with the infotainment system, on the home screen, you can swipe through all of these widgets. You can even add some as needed, depending on what you'd like to see. And then you have shortcuts over on the left side. Now this does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and then you can also go into Car, where you can get through a lot more information. So there's driving information. You can even pull up the sport displays if you're doing some performance style driving. Multiple settings to go into to configure everything to your liking. And then you have driver profiles, owner's manual. You can get into the navigation and then your phone and media. So pretty easy to go through that. There's also a control underneath that for the intelligent safety. So you can go through some of the safety features and configure those as needed. Now you have another LCD screen for the climates with your fan speed, temperature, where you'd like the air to go. This is also equipped with heated and ventilated seats. So you have one control that will control both of those, which is nice. You have some defrosters too. All of your presets with power, volume, and tuning. There's also wireless charging with auxiliaries and cup holders, which are hidden by this wood trim accent. And then you do get controls down below to further go through this system. So you don't have to use it as a touchscreen system. You can use those controls there. Now, if we put this into reverse, this has the backup camera with the 360 view. There's also automatic parking and backup assistance. You have no shortage of visibility around the entire vehicle, which is very nice. Now, if I put this into drive, there's also a shortcut I can push on to pull up the forward-facing camera. That is located on this left side. Once you are in drive, you can also shift using the shifter or the paddle shifters, of course. And then there's traction control, parking sensors, engine start stop, and you do get a few different driving modes. So this will change the exhaust slightly, but it will also change your throttle response. There's an adaptive setting too, auto hold and the e-brake. You get some auxiliaries in the center armrest, and then you also have a good bit in the glove box there. There's garage door buttons up top, dome lights, and controls for the sunshades, along with the sunroof for your front passengers. And then, as you can tell, you have a lot of glass, so it's pretty easy to see all around. As we set off now behind the wheel for this 840 Gran Coupe, I also forgot to mention that this does feature rear wheel steering. So in the parking lot, this has been really easy to maneuver. For a little bit longer of a vehicle, it definitely makes it very helpful. Now, I'm not sure if at highway speeds, the rear wheels go in the same direction. I think it's just at slower speeds to make a tighter turning radius. But with this 840, this is a really nice model to go with. You have plenty of power. You have basically a 4-seater with that 5th seat option if you needed it. But it's more of a grand style type or grand touring type of vehicle that you can just have a nice luxury ride. Now you also get a little bit of performance to it. So with a mild acceleration there, the paddles are very responsive. Not crazy loud, as you would expect though for this type of vehicle. But you can also step up to the M850 if you want even more power and a little bit more performance. But with this model here, I think it's definitely very adequate from that inline 6. So as we do another slight acceleration up to speed here, it does it with ease. Obviously, it has a lot more potential than what I'm doing today, and it's just a really nice vehicle to drive. Seats are in a good spot. I like how you kind of sit down into them. So they are height adjustable, but you can get them dialed into a really good spot. As far as your driver headroom goes, at 5'10", I have about maybe 3 inches or so of headroom, and that is with the seat all the way down. So you can be a little bit taller than me and still fit comfortably. This also has the power adjusting steering wheel too, to help further get this into the right spot. But it's a nice vehicle. I think that a lot of people are going to like this model because it doesn't have the large curved screen. Maybe we'll see for the 26-year model, but we have the separated screen. It's a larger screen for the infotainment system, so you can still go through everything very quickly. A lot of people aren't a huge fan of the large curved screen from BMW. From the past reviews that I've done, I've been able to see those comments. I like it. It's something that just takes a little bit of time to get used to. But with the old school screen here, you still have a good bit of tech to go through. And it's fun to drive. You have the different driving modes. So in eco mode, it will actually change the gauge cluster, and you really don't have any throttle response. You have a little bit quieter of a vehicle too. So if you're just cruising out on the highway, you can save a little bit on your MPG and just have a nice, quiet, luxury-focused vehicle to cruise down the road. And we're in sport mode, second gear. Here we go. And a mild acceleration, we're up to speed. Again, paddles are very responsive for this 8-speed. And as you can tell, I have the sport displays on, so you can look at your G-force meter, live readouts for horsepower and torque, along with PSI for those engine components. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for this BMW. Definitely a luxury-focused sedan, basically, but BMW's term for that is Gran Coupe, and it's a nice place to be. This would make for a great daily driver. It's well refined, super comfortable, very smooth driving too, with some of those performance characteristics to it. And it's a nice place to be. Not quite as practical with that middle space area in the back. So realistically, 4 people would fit comfortably in this vehicle. So it just depends on how many people you have tagging along with you. It would still make for a great vehicle. You have plenty of cargo space too. So it just depends on your preference and what you are looking to get. But it's a nice vehicle. We do have the adaptive mode too, so it will predict adjustments for the vehicle depending on your driving situation, probably from how much throttle input you're giving the vehicle, maybe how much braking, or if you're just cruising out on the highway and not really changing speed or anything, which is nice. You can just let the vehicle do that for you when needed. And we still have a lot of tech, so it's a nice model without the latest BMW technology, but it's still going to give you a fantastic ride and just that luxury experience that you are looking for. So that is going to wrap it up for the 2025 BMW 840 xDrive Gran Coupe. Once again, a huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Charlotte for providing this for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.